Hi, it's June 29th of 2024, and we're going to talk a little bit about Module 8 in English 529. This week, you're turning in your draft, the second draft of your stories, and you get to do one more draft of them. I'm so excited to see what you did with them. And then Module 9 will be it. They'll be as final as they'll be for this class. It doesn't mean they're final forever, especially if you get great ideas for if you want to submit them elsewhere. So you're doing peer review, just as a brief reminder in your peer reviews, and I don't think either of you have problems with this, but please be sure that when you're passing on advice to your peers that you're, checking out like craft books or looking at charters or something and backing up these great ideas that you have with something that Charters is saying as well, because even now, as a professional editor, I go out and seek the material when I give my initial advice in a manuscript. I'll say, this isn't just my good idea. Stephen King says it in On Writing, or John Gardner says it, or Charters says it, or you know what I'm saying? So even though I do this professionally, I definitely back up what I say with other professionals to say, I got this information from somewhere. I didn't just come up with this because I thought it was a good idea. So please do that with your peers too, and keep doing that moving forward in SNHU, because it's the best practice by far and makes you more credible, because you're smart readers, all of you are. All of us write because we love to read too, but now you're understanding sort of the mechanics behind it and proving to people, isn't there a commercial that does that? It's not just a great idea. Like gravity, it's not just a great idea, it's a law. So please do that in your critical peer reviews. And then in the 8-2 journal, reflecting on the peer review, please know that a chunk of this you're going to end up using very similarly. You'll edit it and make it even better for that module 10 14-item rubric that you turn in the final module. So what you do here will be useful for a big chunk of module 10. And early on, I provided here's something you can write over the top of organization for the module 10 assignment, because again, because there's 14 rubric points, it's really easy for you to miss them. And then it's easy for me to miss that you did them unless you use this format. You are welcome to use that format in the 8-2 journal. And I think I provided them way back in the beginning announcements, but if you're not seeing them, it's going to be a Writing Wednesday announcement, or just ask me and I will email it to you, because you're here. And that's one of the advantages of being here, is you can ask me to send it to you. Okay, any questions about this week? All right, what I wanted to do this week is to just pull off the New York City Midnight model and write. And I was toying with it. Tell me what you think. If you disagree with this, I'll pop in and find something, but I wanted to just do it, to throw it at you the same way New York City does, without an inspirational piece to look from. I got Sue's nodding.
I don't know enough about it to say one way or the other.
Okay, I'll describe the model. So, for example, I'm doing the 100-word microfiction, and I made it out of the first round anyway and submitted for the second round. Got some help from some of you on that. Thank you. And so they give you something like, here's your genre, ghost story. Here's your action, locking a hotel room door, and one word has to be in there. And maybe it's like correct, right? So it's super, super fun. And what I wanted to do was just ask each of you to pick a number between like 1 and 70. And I will use the New York Midnight, the people who placed in the different categories, I will use what they gave that category on your number. So you'll each have a different number. So that means that you'll have different priorities. So I think this could be it could be really fun to see what all the different people come up with. Ha! Sue's already picked number 4, which is, by the way, my good luck number.
Same.
Same?
Yes.
That's awesome. Okay. Oh, I was hoping I would, I was hoping I'd be able to copy it, but I couldn't, but something horrible just happened. Stop. Okay. So it's going to take a second to pass them on to you. So I will start with each person who's been in the chat and read yours out to you. And then we're going to go for it. Do we need any more warming up? Do we need to sing something or maybe do interpretive dance? No, we're good. Okay. And has everybody picked a number? Okay. Suze, number 4, you're going to write in the suspense and or thriller genre. Oh, I'll just type these in here too at the same time in case you forget after I say it. 4, suspense and or thriller genre. Taking a shortcut is the action that has to happen in it, and the word that has to be in there is judge. Okay. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read them out so you can get started, and then I'll type them in because it's too slow. Fernanda, number 5, romantic comedy. Oh, I'm sorry you couldn't get horror. Locking a hotel room door. And the word that has to be in there is angle. Okay, 34. Emily, you're going to write in sci-fi. You're going to be using giving a piggyback ride. And the word that has to be in there is found.
That's the one genre I don't read and we're right in, so.
Good luck. Just to have technology in there that's like advanced and weird. That's sort of the future of sci-fi.
Okay.
Randall, 13. Oh, Randall. Horror. Signing a guest book. And your word is trail. Lori is 18. Historical fiction. Tapping someone on the shoulder is the action. And your word is chew. Sarah's number 3. Suspense and or thriller. Becoming out of breath. Can you believe that? Your action is becoming out of breath. And your word is correct. And Kevin, you're number 15. A suspense and or thriller. Dusting something is the action that has to happen. And your word is rank. Now, you can use the word, like if you wanted to use ranking or I don't know any other words, ranked, you know, the words in their correct order need to be together. So like if your word is guess and you use guessing, you can't use a word like gusset that has all the letters but is a different word. You have to have guess all together or rank all together or trail all together in there. The action has to happen. So if you were told that dusting something had to happen, you can have it be any kind of dusting anything, but it has to happen. And you just need to try to write in your genre. And a suspense and or thriller, I think you all know, just usually means like something's happening. It's sort of mysterious and you're trying to figure it out.
Can you tell me what my word is again, please?
Correct. Your word was correct.
And I don't remember what the action or word was for mine either.
Emily, you were number 34, right?
Yeah.
Giving a piggyback ride, which is a kind of extra fun one for you. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
mine chew or chew, number 18. I couldn't tell what you said. Tapping someone on the shoulder, but the word, is it chew?
Like
chew?
chewing food.
Chewing. Okay.
Like,
What
but
was
it's
the word?
but it's chew. And you can do whatever you want with it.
Oh.
The word for Emily, your word is
Yeah.
that okay. Found. Like if you
Okay.
found something on the ground.
Okay.
Anybody need any more? I think because we got going so fast, what do you think? Do you want 10 minutes? Because this is a little more restrictive. Yeah, okay. Let's do 10 minutes on this one.
Quick question, just to clarify. So the setting is like in my case, it'd be like locking a hotel room door. Like that's like where the setting is going on, and then I have to use angle or
It doesn't have to be setting, that action has to happen. So you could have somebody in dialogue in a completely different setting. Say they were locking the hotel room door and you might push the boundary. I mean, I think NYC would be like, no, physically that action has to happen, but you can play with it. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm not New York City Midnight. Okay, y'all feel good? I'm really excited about this because we're going to get the biggest variety we've ever had. I'm putting on our timer for 10 minutes. Go ahead and start. Woohoo! And I'm going to talk a little bit because I left poor Colleen in the waiting room. So I'm going to explain this to her. So please, mute me if you have to or whatever. Colleen, I'm so sorry that I left you in the waiting room.
Gosh, no worries, no worries. I'm so excited to be able to be here.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah,
We're doing this fun thing. This is why we're already started. It's
Okay.
New York City Midnight's technique. New York City Midnight, do you know them?
no,
It's this really fun contest that like 6,000 people do each time for different categories. And I'm doing the microfiction category. But
Oh.
what they do is you get 24 hours and they will assign you to a group and they will assign you specific genre and action
Okay.
that has to happen in what you write. And they will assign you a word that has to appear in there. So,
Okay.
and the word can be formatted differently, but the word they give you in the order that they give it, needs to be there. Like if your word is price,
Uh-huh.
that one's a tough one because you don't want to take the E off, right? If the word is under,
Okay.
you could use understand, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so pick a number between 1 and 89.
72.
Go. Good, because nobody picked that one. Good. Okay.
Excellent.
Your genre is science fiction.
Okay.
The action that has to happen in there is belching.
Okay.
I did not make these up. And the word that has to appear in there is function.
Function.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool, cool.
You got it? Okay, there's 8 minutes
it.
left. Go, go, go.
Okay, cool, cool. See what I can do.
You have about a minute left. Okay, do your best to wrap things up and head back in. I can't wait to see what you got. I'd love to also hear your experience with the process, because this is the first time we've tried this here. So as everybody's coming back in, maybe you can talk about how it went for you.
Horribly for me. I learned I can't write historical fiction. I barely know what it is, so I've got nothing.
Oh, oh no. You just have to
But
take
I
one of
like the
your,
idea. I love the idea. That just blocked me from the beginning.
oh, just take one of your hilarious people and put them in an older school. Make them wear short
Yeah, but
pants.
Ralph.
I
Put
put
Ralph in
Paul Bunyan in Hobbiton, but it didn't go anywhere. It was just him talking to Bilbo Baggins. So
Oh my God, I love it. It sounds like something that actually could really move forward in a weird fan fiction way. How about everybody else? How'd it go?
I mean, it was easier than I thought, but there's still some like fantastical elements in there as well. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Mine was wild because I had sort of a shotgun start. So
you did. You did. Yeah.
yeah, but it was cool. It was fun.
Suze, thank goodness you messaged me separately because your face was there.
Yeah, no, it's really weird. It looks like Zoom updated because the whole bottom is so
It's different. Yeah.
what it
It
looks like.
updated yesterday for me.
Mm.
Yeah, and like I trying to find the meeting to start it was different. I mean, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's weird.
Yeah.
But I
And
loved it.
oh,
I got to revisit some characters that you know.
I love it. Love it. And I hope Fernanda, Sarah, and Randall are here and just muted.
1, 2, 3.
I have no
Well,
notes that say they're kicked out. Hi, Fernanda.
There said that there's 9 people in here, and there's 5 on the screen right now. So I'm assuming they're still in. I can check.
I have 6 on the screen, and then
Oh, Randall's on the phone call.
okay, great. And Colleen's there, and
I'm here.
Sarah, I imagine, is around. Yeah, I'm gonna pop into Slack really quick and message her to make sure she's not gone.
Pauline,
Oh,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
your
Okay,
shorts, Nuzine,
gotcha.
and
Thank
your
you.
podcast. Oh, so good.
Thank you. I was really floored. My mom, I don't think has ever read anything of mine that's like, present, like current, whatever. And she was just, it was really fun. It was.
Oh,
I think
good.
what I was most interested in was how her contingent reality really played on the story for her, which was really, I was like, oh wow,
Nice.
Super fun. Yeah.
it was really cool. It was very cool.
Well, does anybody want to be brave and go first?
I'll do it because I had the least amount of time. That'll be fun. Mine
Okay.
will be short.
Okay, I'm in.
Okay. All right. So I had sci-fi, belching, and function. The Vogon belched in a way that caused the air to vibrate and the metal of the cabin to shudder. I looked at the small tablet in my hand with the words, "Don't panic," in large, friendly letters flashing on the screen. I touched the screen and the keyboard appeared. I pressed the function key and typed "Escape Vogon Ship" into the search bar. Sorry, the results returned. Nearly impossible. I sighed audibly and racked my brain for a new search that would give me more to work with. I was crouched behind a large instrument panel on the bridge of the Vogon ship with my electronic Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, wishing heartily that I hadn't listened to the tip I'd gotten from the nice guy I'd met on the last ship. The Vogon in the captain's chair lifted his arm and scratched.
Right, Lori? I married one.
Same. Pretty
I
frustrating, mostly.
extra love that we have no idea like what a Vogon is, and it doesn't matter. You just got to get away from it.
It's if you had read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, this is totally fan fiction, and you absolutely would know who a Vogon is.
I have read it, but I read it in, I would argue, say 1980 something.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I have like, oh gosh, we were in love with this in high school. When I was in high school, I listened to all of the BBC tapes. They did a whole radio show style tape. Oh gosh, they're amazing. And then I've reread it as an adult a couple of times. So I don't know why they popped into my head, but they did.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it when I read it, but then I just kept going. She did not ask for 42, unfortunately.
72, oddly.
Close.
But 42 is meaningful, right? And the Hitchhiker's
It
Guide.
is.
Yeah.
It
Isn't
is
it like the answer
answer.
to the universe? Yeah.
It is the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything.
That means that when we go next, somebody gets to pick number 42. Okay, what else did we love? I mean, I'm just babbling over here. You all be the people with good ideas.
I like the Lori's friendly letters. Same with Lori, because letters with this situation, whether they're friendly or not, they don't really help. They make words, but they don't help you. Don't panic.
That's fair. I
Someone
can't
thinks
take
that
credit
is-
for that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I cannot take credit for that. That is all Douglas Adams.
Oh.
Hey, but isn't this part of it? I mean, if you love that about Douglas Adams, you can put it in your own stuff.
Oh, I suppose. Just like specifically, the book is described in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is described in Douglas Adams as a large book with or electronic thing. It's interesting, but it's described as having large friendly letters written on the front. Don't
Yeah.
panic. So like it's the standard description. I can't take credit. I used it, but
You used it to good effect.
thank you.
I still liked it, whether it's Douglas Adams or you, I still liked it.
All right, anything else?
Oh, Colleen, I love it. It was so good. It was
Thank
so
you.
good.
And now I'm going to have to add sometime after July 21st, I'm going to have to add it back into my reading list to do again. Because I remember loving it. That's all I can tell you is that I love The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and 42.
Oh, or so worth it if you can find the BBC production. So worth a listen. Oh my gosh, the actors are fantastic and it's hilarious.
Okay. I'll look for it. I bet you that Audible has that somehow.
I would
or
bet
the
they would have
library
it.
or- yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Cool. Who wants to go next?
I could go next. Or
Go ahead,
Randall
go
can
ahead.
go and I can go.
Either way.
Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
The hallways dripped as Karras made his way deeper. There were others behind the walls. He knew it. They whispered beyond his shadowed trail, filling his mind with honeyed caresses of the terrible things they'd done in the dark. The ecstatic visions it caused left Karras heady, wanting more, like a lost soul drinking from a hoof print in the desert. He leaned against the spongy wall and felt the distant pulse of something grand. He could never carve through here, though everything in him screamed to find the path, that he might escape to some place deeper. Only one of them could complete the journey after all. Karis's feet splashed through Viscera and grit, the messy detritus always left by the creatures God had loved so much. An involuntary growl escaped from his lips. Why was he being punished so? The tunnels were thinner now, the pulsing faster, stronger, nearer. The voices raged, maddened as he drew closer to his goal. Sign, they insisted. Their whispers had become a roar. Karis pushed his fingers into the wall and a gout of blood fanned his face. He pushed deeper, finding the throbbing cord inside. The runes of the others were already there, etched, marking their presence in this hallowed vessel. Karis added his name to the guest book and ripped the cord in two, smiling as he drowned in the sudden deluge of blood. Tommy stooped in the high school hallway, his face contorting with pain as a wave of agony rolled down his arm. He tried to silence the voices, but they had grown so loud. It was so hard to shut them out when they wrote their story inside him.
I think my heart is actually beating faster now.
God.
I'm
Whoa.
horrified. What do you all have to say?
Well, this is really good. And at first I was like, please let this be in here. But now I just want like a whole different spin-off. A whole different full novelization of this one.
I like how you built the words when you were, it was the pulsing, and then you had a couple of more words that now I didn't write them down fast enough, but it really created that effect for me. That pulsing effect, I felt it. And it was like closing in. The way that you stacked the words made it do that.
Did you intend for it to sound birthing like?
In a way, I was envisioning this as, he's one of many demons that's possessing this guy, and they're all trying to find their way to the heart of his soul. So
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
Mhm.
This might be weird, but I wonder what feeling we would have gotten if you read it in a different tone or pace, or like, because you have a certain style of reading.
Mhm.
And I'm just curious if it would do something different, not bad or good or anything, just
Yeah.
different.
If Jessie was here, she could read it in her holler voice.
Yeah.
That would definitely have a difference.
I'm trying to get through some of these manuscripts that that aren't for clients by having Word read them to me, and the female voice is so friendly. I can't imagine what Randall's piece would sound like. It'd be like, then he reached for the throbbing cord, and it's one of these memoirs is about like childhood abuse, and so I'm just like, could you be less happy? So I agree, Sarah, that it could have a really big impact. I think, Randall, you see that all of us were like, oh my God, but that drinking from a hoof print in the desert, poof, how does that come into your head? It was amazing. Give us the secret.
I wish I could tell you. It just happened.
Okay. Like, I get to write about hoof prints.
He's a
No, I loved it.
unicorn.
He is a unicorn. They say unicorns don't exist, but we have one right here.
Prove it. You don't have any picture evidence right now.
I know he must be sick or something, because you're definitely not on screen.
No. I just woke up and nobody wants to see my face in bedhead right now.
Are you sure? Because that's sounding pretty funny.
Nope.
Okay, all right. Did you switch then POVs? You were a demon and then you went to Tommy's?
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. And of course, in 529, nobody gets to do that. So
Mhm.
it's such a pleasure to be somewhere where that's okay. Yeah, I thought that worked really well. And it doesn't always, but it definitely did there, in my opinion. Does anybody have anything else before we go on to Emily? Other than brilliant. I mean, for real,
Yeah,
not just saying
real.
an intro to your piece.
No quotes.
Right.
The hoof
Not
print,
brilliant.
the hoof print line, I was like, how does that even work? But it's amazing. It sounded great. I have never tried to drink from a hoof print. Probably will never ever do that because germs, but it sounded
Yeah.
really great.
I promise I won't, and I have lots of opportunities. Yeah, Fernanda, same thing. Like I seriously
Yeah.
couldn't talk at the end because my heart was beating too fast.
I was speechless for about 2 minutes before I even I couldn't put my thoughts into words.
Which is also why it's so unfair that I have to read horror in 529 because I get scared so easily. It's my job. So then, yeah, this one guy that I'm doing client work for, he's like, there's some pretty gory stuff in there, but it's not gratuitous. And I'm like, I'm in. There is unicorn evidence, and it's even got bedhead. Thanks, Suzanne. Thank you, Randall. Emily, what you got?
So my genre was sci-fi. My word was piggyback. My action was piggyback ride, and my word was found. Things are different now than they were. Notably, even bones are now replaced with mechanical limbs. I always had issues fitting in different ways than most. Hold on. I have to move in different ways than most, but I adapted and found a way to get around the heaps of steeping junk in people's yards, piggybacking off of old car doors and bonnets, which is basically just like the front of the hood. Bonnets, to get to the other side of the pit. Not without bumps and scrapes on my one good leg. Losing both would be awful, but it's not up to me. It's up to the monks. If they feel I don't deserve a leg, then oh well. Adapt. Sure. Fine, whatever. You say adapting, should be considered torture.
Oh,
I need more.
I want somebody to tell me what they like feel like that setting looks like, because there were so few setting descriptors and yet it's vivid for me, and I want to know if somebody else feels the same way.
I don't know why I wrote the word bonnet for describing it.
Oh, I love that you did. I love it.
I was like, I don't know if they know what a bonnet is, but I'm gonna go with it.
I was just gonna say that, Suzanne, you and I are like one brain today, because bonnet is British and it sounded so steampunk, right? That's the setting I had.
I got a total vibe of, also dating myself, The Labyrinth.
Mhm.
Anybody seen the movie The Labyrinth?
Yes.
Of course.
Okay. Oh, thank God. I love that you're my people. But like big heaps of like junk piles and like creepy seating. Yeah, it was really evocative actually.
See, I got a slightly different image that I also thought was really cool, where it almost felt like a mix of like Fallout and Borderlands with a like I almost got an image of like a junkyard that was like people, and there were these monks that it was almost like a religion, that as they were moving through this junkyard. So I got a really, really clear view of that.
Well, I kind of took inspiration from Harrison Bergeron
Ah,
and just put it in a junkyard, basically. So
Well, in that junkyard, kind of automatically we identify with the smell sensor, yes.
I wanted to say that I felt like what you were doing also, because we all went like steampunk or Fallout or House Moving Castle, like I feel, and Harrison Bergeron, I felt like you were taking all these different forms of genres, including sci-fi, which well done. And then you made them work together in ways that made me want to see this world. Like I hadn't felt them combined in that way before, and I got really excited about it. I wanted more and more and more and more and more. So now you have a novel to write. Good luck.
Need to know more about this religion of the junkyard.
Yeah, those monks, that's when I like really sat up. I was already there. But, yeah.
This reminds me, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but in Austin, there's this place called the Cathedral of Junk. It is my favorite place in the world. But it's this artist who built it's a cathedral and it's all junk in his backyard. It's amazing. I recommend you guys Google it. If you guys are ever in Austin, stop by. It is truly amazing.
Can you put a photo in the chat?
Yeah, let me look for it.
Yeah, thanks.
What
It sounds so cool.
Because I'm in Dallas area.
Oh, she's muted.
I want to say it's central. No, South Austin. Sorry.
South Austin.
South Austin.
And Austin's such a cool city anyway, so I'm not surprised it's there.
It's
It
weird.
is.
People in the Dallas-Fort Worth area had very strong feelings about Austin.
People in Texas have very strong feelings.
They want to kick Austin out of Texas, don't they?
Yeah,
It's
they were
kinda
like,
split.
Austin's a knockoff of Portland. I never heard of that because they're like, oh, it's for Austin's keep Austin weird. I'm like, that's Portland, buds.
It's Portland with like humidity and hot weather.
Austin is the, yeah.
Maine.
I think I'd love Austin more if it wasn't in Texas. Trying to paste it.
As soon as you said that, it reminded me of a thing that we went to once here too. Like it is like a huge junk shop, but like a whole, it's very artistic too. And I can't think of what it's called, but I will try to find it.
While she's finding the photo, Emily, amazing work. Let's do one more while we're waiting for the junkyard picture. Good job.
Thank you.
This is working out so fun, and it's weird to not have them related, but fun. I mean, but what a different experience.
Can I read next when we're ready? Or is someone already-
Absolutely. Do you want to go?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. I kind of cheated because I turned the volume down because we were talking, and then I got extra minutes, so I apologize. Okay.
We would
Susan
never know.
Susan stood in the field holding something behind her back as I crossed over to meet up with her. She looked different somehow. Were her eyes darker than usual? Was she standing rigidly? I didn't know, which is unusual because I knew everything about her as if she were a part of me. I brought you something, Sarah, not looking at me. Guess which hand? I thought the context would show her as happy or excited to give me a gift. The grass that had recently been mowed in stripes that looked like someone had used a ruler tickled my ankles as I kept moving towards my best friend. The smell of the mowing being recent reminded me that I was going to be itching for the rest of the day, but I didn't care. When I got about 10 feet from her, I noticed her right shoulder sagged a bit, like the zombies on The Walking Dead. I chuckled inwardly, but her eyes, she wasn't blinking. Do you want me to pick now? I stood still, not understanding why something fell. Please do. Why are you talking so formally, you weirdo? I tried to lighten the mood, smiling. Your right hand. Correct, she smiled. Her teeth were all black. Okay. You aren't Susan, are you? I start walking backwards. She charged at me with the baseball bat and started swinging. Blows cracked my ribs. I couldn't move. After 6 swings, I could tell she was finally running out of breath. She fell to the ground. I knew I wouldn't be worrying about my grass allergy that night.
Yeah.
Did you get horror?
I think. I don't know.
You didn't say your genre or anything, and so I was just kind of like, "Oh, good, Susan. Oh, yeah." And then black teeth, and I'm like,
Mm.
Same.
Mm.
I love
And
how you
I
wrote
bet I surprised you about my shortness of breath thing too.
uh-huh. Yes, ma'am.
That was my goal, actually.
Suze, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I love because you've written about the when she accidentally hit you with a baseball bat once. And so I loved how you turned that on our heads. Because I was like, oh fine. Oh no.
I also actually really liked the last line because it was like such an odd juxtaposition, like that little twinge of like humor that sometimes is in horror, where it's like that very dry. Well, I guess I won't have to worry about my grass allergy.
Yeah, and in
Yeah, it
the
was good.
chat, I wrote, it's interesting to wonder how the itching sensation adds to the overall story, meaning what a good idea to have the irritation. And I love that that's what you turn back to, to say, like, you brought that in and it really was foreshadowing, but we couldn't know it. It was really great. I love that.
Thank you.
What else? And oh, let's see. Yeah. Oh, fantastic last
What's
line.
your
I agree,
genre,
Lori.
Sarah?
Sorry, Emily.
But
What was the genre?
I don't know. I thought it was like suspense or something like that, but
I think
I
it
could
was
be
suspense
wrong.
and thriller. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that did it too. I mean, it felt a little like horror, but I also have a hard time with suspense. So, because I like things not to be full of tension. And all good writing is, why do I read? Okay. Anything else for Sarah? That was great, Sarah. All right. Who wants to go next? Still have 4, and you don't have to go.
I can go.
Okay, thanks, Suzanne.
Em banged her flashlight against her thigh, the beam flickering weakly before going out completely. Lydia? She called out into the dark. Rosalie? Only silence answered her. She shivered, goosebumps rising on her arms. Where had they gone? She shouldn't have taken the shortcut through the cubby in the closet. She really thought it was going to take her to the same room as Lydia was heading to anyway. She crept deeper into the abandoned house, one hand trailing along the wall. Guys? Still no response. The dusty floorboards creaked under her feet. She swallowed hard. Were Rosalie and Lydia playing a trick on her? They wouldn't just leave her alone, would they? No. Rosalie couldn't get too far away from her, not if she didn't want to disappear from this plane of existence. Rounding a corner, Em stopped short. There, in the far corner, lay a pile of what looked like bloody clothes. She approached slowly, heart pounding. No, not just clothes. Rosalie's clothes. Em picked up a familiar pink shirt, now stained blood red. Rosalie had been wearing this, is still wearing this. Em's hands shook as she turned the shirt over. What happened? Is this where Rosalie died? Where all the other missing girls died? Fear fisted her chest. She had to find Lydia. Something terrible was going on here. Gripping the flashlight, she continued to the next room. Lydia? She called, hating the quaver in her voice. Please. As Em entered the next room, Rosalie suddenly phased through the wall in front of her. Em screamed, dropping the bloody shirt and stumbling backwards over an old chair. She crashed to the floor, her heart hammering wildly. Sorry, Rosalie exclaimed. I forgot I can't make any noise. Before Em could respond, the door burst open, bathing the room in a warm strawberry glow. Lydia stood there, pink magic swirling around her hands. Are you okay? Lydia asked, rushing over to help Em up. Yeah, I'm fine. Em stammered, still shaken. She took a deep breath, trying to still her racing pulse. The night was getting stranger and scarier by the minute. Lydia studied her with concern. Why'd you stop following me? I turned around and you were gone. Don't judge me. My flashlight went out, Em explained. And when I called for you guys, I couldn't hear anything. A loud bang suddenly echoed from the other room, making them all jump. The three girls exchanged anxious looks. Hi, Lydia whispered. They scrambled to find cover just as the heavy footsteps approached. Rosalie ducked behind a cabinet while Lydia and Em crouched below a table. Lydia gestured for Rosalie to go investigate. Rosalie cocked her head, not understanding. Then she made a motion, hitting her head and faced back through the wall towards the noise.
Towards the what?
Towards the noise.
Remind us of your genre, your action, and your word.
I had thriller, suspense. My action was taking a shortcut, and my word was judge.
You sounded like really
Wow.
happy reading a thriller.
With a touch of horror, as Randall so aptly noted.
Right?
Yeah.
Not funny.
That's so creepy. So creepy.
I got a little distracted. Suze, you didn't write a story about the daughter of a sheriff who that was you. I
Yes.
lost my mind because the names were the same. I'm like, why are they in a house? Why, you know what I mean? Like, and so then I didn't concentrate as well as I could have. So I'm counting on because I'm like, wait a minute, I've heard this story. I'm sure it was her. Why are they in a house? What about Rosalie? Is she a ghost now? Like, have they moved? Yeah.
That's
Okay.
why I said, is Rosalie a ghost? Wait, that just all went in the house.
Yeah,
And then-
so it's
Although-
I'm expanding the 529 story to become like a whole manuscript, but now Rosalie's a ghost, so I call her Ghostily.
Love it.
But she doesn't remember how she died, but I'm keeping the same ending.
Okay,
But-
so we're in danger, kind of.
Oh,
But but the turn, like, she's still a good friend right now, right? Yeah, and hasn't pursued it too far. I love this. I really love it.
When you would shorten Emma's name to M, I'd be like, "What? Why am I in the story? What did I? What did I do?"
That's the first thing I thought. She was like M, and I was like, oh, cool. She brought M in.
And then she said Emma, and I was like, "Oh, okay, it's not me."
Oh yeah, no. Yeah,
Just my
I had
niece.
M before. Oh gosh, when did I take your class? Was that a year or two ago?
I mean, like close to 2, I think.
Yeah, it was November year before last because that was one we had together. So
That was such a great class. These things happen. Like, both Kevin and Fernanda are bringing up the energy in the class we have. Like, there's something about, and I'm not trying to be like, this is going to sound wrong, and I don't mean it this way, but the people who bring this kind of energy
Just steer into it. Just go for it.
Well, I'm being recorded, but no, but the people who come here, there's something about your energy. Like, I think you're really excited about improving your writing even more. And that doesn't mean other people aren't. Some people can't make the time. I'm not saying that. But you too really spike the energy in our class in such great ways. Like, and so did Suzanne and Randall, so did Sarah, Colleen. Yeah.
I think
Lori.
even just the connection does that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Because we actually know each other a little bit. Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys did become friends from 529, didn't you?
that's why I said you're responsible for POV.
Oh, I just want to be responsible for good things, and that one's good.
I was thinking about that this morning, actually. I was thinking, like, she showed that there is a door to open, and now you guys have like a castle built.
I know, because snoozing, right?
Mhm.
And that is going so well. And the way that you're presenting it with, like, readings and interviews, and I'm like, all of that is so exciting. I mean, it's such a real thing. And now you just, like, as more people come look at it, I think it's just really going to grow. That's my opinion. What else? So we haven't talked about her piece. I've just talked about how great she is. Lydia can't see ghostily, can she?
She can only see ghostily if M is around. Because M is feeling the existence of ghostily.
So if she can see her, Like, was there a gaspy moment of, does she remember how this happened? Or, but it turned out it was okay. So then now she doesn't worry about it.
Correct.
Okay.
I got chills down my spine, which doesn't happen often with suspense or horror. So the fact that you got chills down my spine is great.
Well, and I had, oh, Fernanda's going to say something, but briefly, I for a moment thought like bloody pulp Rosalie was still in those clothes. I typed this in here. I was like, well, hold on. Oh, well, I think I typed it in where I was like, still in the clothes? Like, I'm sorry for shouting,
Yeah.
but I was like, oh my
Oh,
God.
sorry.
Like, I thought there was a body there. Sorry, Fernanda, what were you going to say?
No worries. My heart is still pounding from that story. I'm trying to like breathe it out, but yeah, the beginning was like, I was like, oh, and then your fear fisted her chest. That calmed me down a little, and then I went back to like being afraid.
Yeah, when you all write this much tension, it's really hard to be a good fast critiquer in the chat because I'm too busy being swept up in the story or trying to remember, wait a minute, why aren't they on a mountainside? Yeah. Okay, that was great. We still have a few people left. Do you all want to read? Who's next? Lori's shaking her head. She just doesn't think Paul Bunyan and Bilbo Baggins are worth it. I'm curious, but I'll respect your choice.
Come on, Lori.
Well, we'll have Fernanda go. Let Lori think about it.
Okay, so I had a romantic comedy.
Oh thank God.
Thank God.
Okay. If you turn this on its head, so help me.
Turned into horror. Just kidding. All right. The sun was already setting in on the horizon, and I was getting ready to explore the city at night. My stomach grumbled from the packet of Cheez-Its that had betrayed me earlier, and I couldn't wait to get something else in my stomach that wasn't packed with artificial delicious dairy. I do this to myself way too often, I murmured under my breath as I pulled out my bag and began to frantically look for my lactate pills. Oh, fuck. It was in that moment that I realized that not only had I not packed my pills, I'd also forgotten my key and everything else in my room. Seriously, what did I grab? Why was gum and lipstick the only thing I thought to get? Placing my foot against the door and my hands on the doorknob, I aimlessly attempted to pull as if perhaps the door would give. I heard a voice behind me say, "Do you need help?" I turned my head as a cute guy in the room in front of me said as he was locking his hotel room. "Aw, shit. Well, at least I had gum. Did you lock yourself or are you robbing the place?" He smiled as he walked towards me. My cheeks grew hot, and of course, if embarrassment was my flirting angle, I'd be an expert.
Yay, and I'm breathing. Does anybody know?
Line.
Oh, I was gonna say, does anybody know my reference? It's Meg Ryan on the train in France. Does anybody know that?
I feel like I should. I've watched all of the Meg Ryan movies.
Yeah.
Is that You've Got Mail or is that somebody else?
No, I mean it's Meg Ryan and You've Got Mail, but this is a different movie. And I always mix it up with the one with Deborah Winger. They're both of them have Paris in the title, so I'm not going to get the title right. But she's on the train in France, and it's French cheese in the dining car, and she can't help herself. And then they have to get off the train well before they're supposed to, because she shouts lactose intolerance. So there's a lot of romance in lactose intolerance.
Aww.
It's an adorable movie. There's a
Okay,
vineyard
it's called
somewhere.
French Kiss, maybe?
Yeah, it's either French Kiss or what's the one with Deborah Winger with Paris in it? It's French Kiss then. Yeah. Okay, but on to what Fernanda wrote because I'm very good at doing rabbit holes.
I wrote down Cheez-Its because I immediately connected with this character because of the Cheez-Its. My daughter is in love with the Cheez-Its. And so like I was just like that was the in for me, which is an entertaining in, but it really worked.
I'm also lactose intolerant, so the Cheez-Its are like that's the devil to me. I can't have cheese whatsoever. So it's like, of course you have to bring Cheez-Its into this. And I was like, okay, cool.
No, I feel
I still
like I love Cheez-Its, but I'm lactose intolerant.
They don't
so-
love you. I had no
They don't
idea
love
they had
me.
real cheese in them.
You know,
I
they
don't-
say they do on the box, but I'm not sure I ever believed it.
Now
Yes,
I
My
don't
daughter.
eat.
Oh, somebody's got some. Lori's got some Cheez-Its.
Read the ingredients. Do they actually have cheese? Endeavor Winger's movie Forget Paris is one of the few movies where I laugh so hard that I cry in that movie.
I love that one. That was really
There
good
is
too.
cheese.
Contains milk. Well, there you go, Fernanda. I didn't believe you. I apologize.
There it is. It's all good. Like Cheez-Its, please sponsor me.
But otherwise, I also really liked the meet cute. That was super cool.
Yeah.
And that he asked her, or are you robbing the place? Because he knows she isn't, but he wants to talk to her.
Right.
Yeah, I do
I-
think
And
you
the
did a good
last
job of
line-
capturing both ends. You know, the romantic aspect and the comedy. You got both covered well in a very short time. So that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your last line? If embarrassment was your pickup line?
Flirt.
I mean, that was-
If embarrassment was my flirting angle, I'd be an expert.
Yeah, that was perfect.
I love that.
Suzanne, that is not a fun class. That
Oh, I loved that class.
Yeah, I did too.
I couldn't write that story, but well, I did, but
I
I was
mean,
gonna say,
you
Fernandez,
should have
like,
turned it on its head and done it with one of your birds or with your cat.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
screw real genre.
I was gonna say, Fernanda, like I hate romantic comedy or romantic anything, and yours felt like it was clear, but it was subtle, and so it didn't make me want to gag. It was like enjoyable to listen to. So
I'm glad. Thank you.
That's the ultimate compliment to a writer. It didn't make you want to gag. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, that one's going in the book jacket.
The blurb on the front of the book didn't make me want to gag.
Didn't make me want to gag.
Love and Lactose Intolerance is the title.
Yes.
In Paris. In Paris. You gotta add Paris into it.
I always said love and Cheez-Its, but that's just me.
Oh, you're right. You are right. I loved it, Fernanda. Well done, you. And it was not gag worthy. And I actually like romances, but also it was not too cute. So great job.
For sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
That leaves us with Kevin. Kevin, you want to read?
Okay.
Okay.
I had suspense thriller. The word was rank and the action was dusting something.
Okay.
So, I got meet their eyes and catch your breath. This is what they've waited for. You've waited for. Your pulse quickens, your pupils expand. You feel flushed. You look for words in your pinkened state, but none come. They say that cyanide smells of almonds. Break. Tap and a release. Tap and more. No, 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 Chef screamed. He placed his tweezers next to the edible orchids. Triple VVIP, third rank admiral, and he chucked a shoulder in Sumit's sternum. Sumit sprawled backwards, solar plexus spasming just once, and he smacked the colander, and there was sugar on the shoe.
Can you
Wait,
read
what?
it again, please? Because my hair is standing up. I'm all like freaked out. Can you read it one more time? Because like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
no. I was like,
Well,
so now
oh,
I'm ready.
okay. So tap and a release.
No,
Tap
no,
and
read
more.
from the beginning, please.
Oh, okay.
All over.
Yeah,
We need the
it was
whole thing
great.
again.
It was so great, but now I want to pay closer attention because I was just terrified and freaked out, and now I want to be a reader.
Okay. Meet their eyes and catch your breath. This is what they've waited for. You've waited for. Your pulse quickens. Your pupils expand. You feel flushed. You look for words in your pinkened state, but none come. They say that cyanide smells of almonds. Drink. Tap and a release. Tap and more. No, 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 Chef screamed. He placed his tweezers next to the edible orchids. Triple V VIP, third rank admiral. He chucked a shoulder in Sumit's sternum. Sumit sprawled backwards, solar plexus spasming. Just once, and he smacked the colander. And then there was sugar on shoe.
Like pat a shoe or just a shoe?
No, it just I cut the pad out so that it was closer
shoe.
for alliteration.
All right, talk to me. My hair's still standing up. I mean, talk to Kevin. Right?
That
That was amazing. The situation was so unexpected. It was really cool. I especially liked the cyanide line.
Yeah.
That's what got me.
Yeah. Instant entry. You know right where this guy is. You know exactly what he's feeling.
Yeah, so I'm like, so you know exactly where this guy is, and I'm so busy going, okay, is somebody being poisoned? And they probably are. And is this happening? Is that happening? But then there's chef, which also in French is boss, and it could be like a mob, but it could be a kitchen, and then there's sugar on the shoe. And so I feel like they killed somebody with a whack to the solar plexus in a kitchen. Or did I miss it? Oh, you left it that shady. Kevin.
It just somebody's gonna get assassinated. I just didn't get there.
Okay. I feel really great about that because I felt like that was happening because Triple V VIP Admiral, I'm like, he's going out, right? They're going to get him. Yeah. It feels like huge international spying stuff. Yeah. And I really thought the second person point of view worked so well in the beginning of that because you put me right in that scene and I was a part of it. And I was too busy gasping. This is why I can't do these things live normally because I'm so busy being scared. Oh, I must pick pieces where this kind of writing doesn't happen. I now have learned my flaw in using this technique.
It made me think of like Stephen King says like start in the middle.
Yeah.
The action.
Very nice.
And you did that so expertly.
Kevin, are you over on Discord with POV?
I don't know what that is.
Randall or Suze or somebody will invite you. I think you'd really love the energy over there. Fernanda, you are, right? Yeah. So
it's
like
really fun.
beyond Slack, there's a place where all the people who are here right now are having vibrant, amazing conversations about manuscripts and stories and all this stuff, which is what I wanted Slack to be, but I can't keep up with it enough to be that person. And so now Suze and Jesse and I don't know, 5 of you or so made up this Discord channel, and it is the place to be. So I think, did somebody just invite you? Yeah.
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 I was going to say there's a chat.
Yeah. So that was incredible. And now I'm going to give you your next assignment, but I'm typing it. So talk amongst yourself really quick. I'm putting it in the chat.
I hope I
Kevin,
get
sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, did you read the things they carried? It was in the assignment, one of the reading assignments, I think either last week or 2 weeks ago. But that's straight where my mind went to, like when you were reading. And it's because I feel like he doesn't full on go like comedy, but he has like little breathers in his writing, and it's such heavy writing. And then the fact that you combined like, I don't know, like it was, well, I thought it was more like military, like there's a war going on, but the fact that you combined it with like it being in the kitchen and you're not sure which one is which, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I liked Tim O'Brien's How to Tell a True War Story. That's one of my favorite
That is one of my
Mhm.
favorite pieces ever. That whole
Mhm.
book is good, but How to Tell a True War Story. I mean, I actually write about it in my memoir a little bit because what he does metaphorically and symbolically with the baby water buffalo, holy crap. Yeah. Okay. Next action, because we were taking so long and I apologize for that. So we have to get cruising now. You get 6 minutes this time. Pick one sentence from what you've written, any sentence you want. Pick a different genre to write in. Here's your action. All of you have somebody give roses, do something with roses. It doesn't have to be give. Basically, roses in the like physical form, something has to happen. And I chose discombobulated because it felt harder to do horror with, you horrible people.
Oh, they're gonna do it now.
I know. I should. As soon as I said those words out loud, I was like, "Oh, challenge, gauntlet thrown." But you don't have to. My heart. Think of my heart. Okay,
Randall,
y'all
we're
ready?
counting on you.
Sorry.
I said Randall, we're counting on you.
Yeah, you will. He had horror last time. You can't. You have to pick a different genre. Go ahead and start. Timer going. Oh my gosh, you only have a minute left. Bring it. I do have another Zoom at 11, so we really do have to. It's a cool one though. It's flash readings, and I can't wait to just listen. I don't have to do anything. I get to enjoy.
Mine's really short.
Okay, let's start with you.
She charged at me with the baseball bat, She charged at me with a baseball bat back in the day, but not intentionally. I stood behind her, showing her how to swing. So really, it was my fault. She got so upset she started crying, apologizing over and over. Out of breath and feeling a bit discombobulated, I went over and stole a rose from the bush in front of the dentist's office. For years, I teased her about it till she could laugh at herself instead of feel guilty, because I certainly held no ill will. The most recent time I teased her about it was funny, but more miraculous. Susan, you finally made up for hitting me with the baseball bat. Calling 911 saved my life.
Oh, that's so poignant and not horror. Thank you. Is that nonfiction? Wow. That's amazing.
More later.
At some point. Susan's such a recurring character that it's really fun to watch you leap across time like this in such a short piece, because a lot of us know her and we love, I'm speaking for everybody now, sorry, but we love that, we get to see Susan reach a place where she can let that go. But what happened with the baseball bat? Did she really break a rib or give you a black eye, or what happened?
No, I just got bruised. It wasn't really that big of a deal. I just make fun of her about it.
Because you can't.
Yep.
What else?
I liked the setting was on, that was the rose from the dentist office. That
Mhm.
was that really evocative for me. Oh,
And
You ever
kind
go
of,
down Milwaukee Street? Is the dentist that used to be behind PDQ? I don't know if you remember. Anyway.
but I also love that suggested that, at least knowing enough as we know about these characters, that she wouldn't have been able to get a rose from elsewhere, that it was kind of a fun pinch from the dentist, and who likes a dentist anyway? So
yeah.
I just felt like there was a lot more going on behind it in a really sophisticated way.
I used to like the dentist. And then reality hit. And then I was like, I don't like her anymore.
I like the nitrous.
I think I got a tooth pulled and it scared me. So I was like, I don't like you anymore. I'm done.
Nitrous is pretty awesome, though. I will give you that.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else, or should we go on to the next? We have till 11.
I can go
Yeah.
next.
Okay, thanks.
So who's going next? Is it Colleen or is it me?
It's
You.
M.
Okay.
That's who I
the
heard.
The wasteland has a brownish smog about it. Dead leaves would hang lifelessly and discombobulated from the branches. There's one thing that grows here: dead man's roses. They adapt, 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 you see. They feed off corpses and rotting flesh, but they bloom so nicely, so much so that you forget that people have to die in order for them to flourish. Dead man's roses, as black as rotting teeth, but they have a smell like licorice if licorice could rot.
Oh, that last line.
Yeah.
I would never come up with something like that. That's cool.
She said, don't do horror, so my brain goes, do horror.
But it turned out really cool. Like I wasn't
Yeah.
terrified in a good way. Like I was creeped
Right.
out. I was all the things,
Yeah.
you know, like it was really well written. And that last night line I thought was like just ding. Yeah. Plus
Yeah,
the
it's really like a sickly sweet. I can sort of, yeah, it tickles the back of my brain.
plus I personally hate black licorice like with a
Me
passion.
too.
Yeah. So it's such a good choice in my mind because I hate it.
It's like rotting, like, like rotted teeth turn black. So what else is black that smells
Yeah.
kind of sweet?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, like it had a lot of opposites in it
Mhm.
in the stories, and that created your imagery.
Yeah, and I think that would ask us to go back and read again on something short like this, because I think that a reader like me would go back and savor that juxtaposition and spend some time sort of waiting in it and feeling where it took me, because it wasn't literal and it wasn't straightforward. So there was a lot of stuff for thinking.
actually, I forgot the word discombobulated, so I just kind of threw it in there with the leaves. I was like, oh, okay.
Work.
We
Yeah.
liked it. I saw a bunch
Yeah,
of
that worked.
people comment on it. Yeah. Really well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, 6
I can-
minutes felt like 2 minutes after.
After having 10. Plus
Yeah.
you started early on 10.
No, I
Yeah.
ended late.
You said that you started writing right away on it too, so I'm just
No.
saying that's why I jumped in and said, oh my gosh, you only have a minute left.
That was short.
You
All
going,
right, I
Colleen?
can do it.
Thank
I'll go.
you.
Okay. I have to trim my sentence a little so that I could get to a different genre. Otherwise, it was too sci-fi. So
Fair, fair.
I sighed inaudibly and racked my brain for something to say. I wasn't usually this discombobulated. I felt the heat in my cheeks, my heart pounding in my chest. I pressed my hand to my breast and tried to steady my breathing, taking slow, shallow breaths, determined not to pass out, despite how tightly I was laced into my gown. Finally, I gathered my skirts in one hand and stepped up into the foyer. I handed the roses in my other fist to the young man standing rigidly there. I'm sorry for your loss, I murmured, bowing my head.
I was like, what genre are we going with? Like, all the way to the where is tied tightly or something like that.
Yeah, she's laced
That was
into her gown.
fun.
Yeah, and I was sure it was romance because of the breast.
Yeah.
You threw me
Well,
off.
I was trying to I wear corsets, so I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, well, you got to put it here. This is because everything else is laced, and so well, all right.
She could say her heart if you were trying not to mislead us.
That's fair, but I wasn't.
It's interesting because she hands the roses to the young man, and already I'm like, okay, is this a wedding? Is this a ball? Is this a? And
I know, I was
then,
thinking like debutante.
yeah,
Oh yeah. Then I turned it on you.
Yeah.
you
And it was so
did.
descriptive. I could like feel it tightening. I couldn't breathe. But no, give me these clothes.
That was lovely mean.
Right. Yeah, you definitely turned it on its head for us, which was great. And now looking back, then the corset even does a little more for us, right?
Mhm.
Just what Lori mentioned right there, making it tighter to breathe, making her uncomfortable. Even the hand on the breast is something else about, pain and sorrow and yeah. I want to know who died and why. So tell me how the novel's going. I know, but you'll find out.
Yes, probably true. Yes.
Awesome. Anybody else? What else for Colleen?
Oh, no, sorry.
Oh, no, Lori,
That
you'll
was
be
great.
next.
That was great.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Lori?
Yeah, had to go with horror.
Yes, of course.
Paul Bunyan jumped back. A hobbit? What's a hobbit? He was discombobulated. He took his axe. His discombobulation disconcerted him and began dismembering the hobbit, tiny limb by tiny limb. No, shrieked Bilbo. My arms! How can I pick my vegetables? Whack! More discombobulated dismembering. Help! Screeched Bilbo. How can I get to the green dragon without my legs? Thwack! There was no response. Bilbo's severed head lay on the ground, eyes wide, staring. Paul bent over and smelled the roses.
God, I want to see this as a
Wait,
Monty
you-
Python sketch.
The way you read, you can't. It too funny to be.
It was comedy horror. It was like Scream or something, you know, where, or the other one. The Scream, the one where they're making fun of Scream? No. Yeah?
No, that's Scary Movie.
Yeah, a scary movie. That's what I mean. Scream is terrifying. Scary movie is funny, terrifying. It still scares
I
me.
could never write straight horror, believe me.
Oh,
brilliant. I loved
yeah,
it.
Randall. No 111th birthday.
Oh,
You don't know. Maybe
Wait,
he already had the birthday.
when you rewrite it, though, you got to put some, no 100 and, oh, 12th doesn't work. You'd have to make it like no 122nd. Another number that does that. Yeah. Okay. To Sarah's question for Randall, clear back on the other one. If Lori's was read in a different voice, would it still be as funny?
No, I mean, if you
I
read
think
it in like
so.
a traditional horror voice, it would be terrifying.
Randall, give us like 2
the
lines
tiny
of it.
limb by tiny limb, like that would be like kind of the climax, sort of the horror part, at least to me, because it seems like that's when it's introduced, but we were laughing instead.
So it could be
Vincent
horror.
Price could read it. Yeah.
I feel like if Randall were to read Laurie's story, it would have had like some kind of typical horror element, but that's
We
just
should do that once.
Yeah,
I
if
like
we
this
have
way.
them written down, yeah. So yeah, that would be a fun one to do. Doesn't Liminal do the prompt ahead of time and you write before you come? Yeah, you could trade stories and see how they go.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
I haven't been doing that because people have said it felt too much like homework, and so they didn't really want to do that
Oh,
anymore.
really? Oh, I used to love
Oh,
it.
that's funny.
That seems
I didn't realize
absolutely
that was
fair.
muted.
What was the last thing I was going to say about that? I lost it. But Lori, thank you for always making me laugh until I almost cry. When I come here, I love seeing you show up because I know at some point I'm going to laugh, and that's fantastic. Such a great voice. And not just your reading voice, but your writing voice.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yay, who wants to go next?
I'll go.
I'll go.
No, go ahead,
Okay.
Tony.
Okay. I'll read really fast.
No,
Take
do
your-
not read fast.
Take your
Read
time. Take
normally.
your time.
Okay. All right. Did you lock yourself out or are you robbing the place? He smiled as he walked towards me. Poor guy, I thought to myself. In his defense, this would have been a pretty great meet cute. Blame Hollywood for it. I smiled back. Oh, I think I locked myself out, I said, reaching into my purse for the hammer. I curled my fingers on its wooden spine. My friend. I saw as his gaze turned discombobulated. All it took was one blow to the head, and he was down. Laid out against the carpet, his blood slowly poured out from the fountain of what was once his being. I bent down and kissed his cheek, gently so as to not hurt him. My purse carried the roses I was about to give him, our love statement, and I scattered them around him, ornamenting the beauty of his death.
Oh my God.
So great.
That was great. Hammer.
These don't like need to be read again. Like,
Okay, read it again.
Okay.
Right.
No, no, you're good.
So good.
Lori, yes.
Did you lock yourself out or are you robbing the place? He smiled as he walked towards me. Poor guy, I thought to myself. In his defense, this would have been a pretty great meet cute. Blame Hollywood for it. I smiled back. Oh, I think I locked myself out, I said, reaching into my purse for the hammer. I curled my fingers on its wooden spine. My friend. I saw as his gaze turned discombobulated. All it took was one blow to the head, and he was down. Laid out against the carpet, his blood slowly poured out from the fountain of what was once his being. I bent down and kissed his cheek, gently so as to not hurt him. My purse carried the roses I was about to give him, our love statement, and I scattered them around him, ornamenting the beauty of his death.
Long.
And she could have gotten away with it until she ornamented it. She could have been like, oh, he was attacking me, you know? So then I gave him roses.
The first time you read it, my jaw literally, like, I had to cover my mouth because it dropped. I was like, I was like, whoa, okay, total 180, but shocking.
I
well
heard a
played.
bunch in here of the things I loved, like the gentle kiss and stuff. They keep disappearing, but the gentle kiss so as not to hurt him. What a detail. That was amazing.
Yeah.
And the beauty of his death too, like that was so like eerie. I like this is definitely a serial killer. I'm a little concerned about like wandering hotels and finding young men to kill.
Like female
Yeah.
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, love it.
Jackie
I
the
did love
Ripper.
Jackie the Ripper. Yeah.
I did love Lori's suggestion that she also could have sprinkled his body with Cheez-Its. Because that's her love, right? And if she can't eat him, she can at least kill him and sprinkle his body.
The Cheez-It killer.
Oh,
Oh,
nice. Now we have a title. What
The
else?
lacerator.
What's up?
Lacerated? What?
Lactose lacerator.
Ooh. Yeah. Maybe anytime she sees somebody eating lactose products, she feels she has to kill them because she can't have them.
It's
I'm
an
connecting
extreme.
with her already. Just kidding.
Let me know when the novel's out.
Cozy murder mystery.
Lori, you better hide.
All right, so I think we have Suzanne and Kevin and Randall left, and Randall was already ready to go. Do you want to go, Randall?
Sure, I can go. He tried to silence the voices, but they had grown so loud. They told him what a mistake this was, and the nervousness that curled in his stomach seemed to agree. Still, he made himself walk onto the train and take his normal place. He knew that no one paid him any attention, but some part of his mind saw them all looking and judging him for a fool. The roses felt so awkward in his hand, their plastic crunching loudly every time he shuffled his feet. Maybe he was a fool, a discombobulated fool searching for something that didn't exist. The train stopped and he returned to the surface, drawing in the suffocating aroma of the city's carcass warming in the midday sun. He gripped the flowers tighter and carried on up the familiar sidewalk, one he never walked on his days off, precisely because of where it led. It seemed so strangely juxtaposed in his mind that the fair and the foul could occupy the same place. His workplace came into view, and he held his breath against its toxic cesspool as he drew closer. He leveled with the window and looked in, searching for the source of pull that had brought him here. She was beautiful, in a way that even the sunset in the ocean could never be. Her smile pulled aside the gray shroud that covered his world and breathed new life into his tired frame. She didn't see him yet. He wasn't sure she ever had. She was giggling, and she was squeezing another man's hand. He watched for a moment as the shroud was drawn back in. He left the flowers with a passing mother on the corner, oblivious to the smile his kindness inspired, and returned to the bowels of the city.
You had a lot written in a short amount of time.
One of his superpowers. That was one of the ones where I just couldn't type fast enough.
I was surprised at the plastic plastic flowers.
So much characterization in that, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like you did 30 pages of a novel's worth of characterization in the fact that he was carrying plastic flowers. My
I
favorite
thought it was the
moment.
plastic around it that was wrinkling. Was it actually the, you know, like when you carry roses,
Oh, that's
they have
true.
plastic? Was it crinkling?
What
'Cause he
was it,
seemed like he
Randall?
would give real roses.
Lori's got it right.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, because if he was giving plastic roses, he'd be so unaware, right?
If he was giving
Like,
plastic roses, I wouldn't feel so bad, but I feel terrible for him going up and putting his heart on the line. It was beautiful in a heartbreaking way.
He's sort
it
of like a
was,
Phantom of the Opera kind of character. Like it was like he's living in the
Exactly.
bowels of the city and he's in love with this woman who doesn't see him. Oh,
a coworker, right?
Yeah.
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 My favorite line was where you did the backwards non-metaphor of in the way that like a sunset or the other thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Ocean.
Like you didn't say
Ocean.
she was those things, ocean. You didn't say she was those things. You said she was better than those things without ever truly
Mhm.
directly comparing them. That was like one of your best figurative languages I've ever heard you use. Definitely put it in a book somewhere.
Put it in the gloam.
Mhm.
In
Because
the
hopefully
gloam.
the gloam will be first among many.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Colleen, it's got to be an odd number of crossings.
An odd number. What? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't have an even number of crossings or it's bad luck.
They
Am I
cancel
the only
out.
one who knows this?
No,
Oh, that explains
it's a
my
math
life.
rule. It's like
Oh,
the
Washington
PQ.
State.
Well, I think actually I was crossing one set of toes that were good. It was 3.
And the way that Suzanne was doing it is one of the most popular ways to be sure you get.
I don't think I can.
You cross just your 2 pinkies, that makes the third. No, it's with each other.
I
There
got
you
you.
go.
Oh,
Critical
but
information
can you
in
do
these.
this?
Yes, because I watched Mork and Mindy.
Yeah.
I have hand
And Lori.
That's not going to happen at all.
Love that show. I did.
So we learn a lot of important information in these weekend workshops, and one of them is always have an odd number of crossed fingers appendages.
Those are the takeaways. That's why we record.
Randall,
It's important
the
nuggets on.
blue hiss was also one of my favorite things because it felt like ice. You know, that he wasn't even truly being generous. He was getting rid of them, and that he was already retreating into some kind of icy, isolated place. Well done. Well done. Lori makes me laugh. Randall makes me see the world in really different ways. You all inspire me. These weekends are great. Who's next, Suzanne or Kevin?
I can go next.
Great.
Sorry, Rosalie exclaimed. I forgot, I can't make any noise. Rosalie's pale ethereal cheeks blushed a soft rose color. No, this is something we need to get used to. And looked around her bedroom. Okay, what about making a humming noise or something? Rosalie floated over to the bed before jumping so high she floated up to the ceiling. Oh no. Em stood on her bed, trying not to lose her balance. It's okay. She stretched to meet Rosalie's cold fingers. Their hands locked for a moment before Rosalie's hand went through hers. It was like icy hot after practice. Whoops, Rosalie giggled, her voice lilting and pleasantly airy. I'm so discombobulated. Her ethereal form twinkled with a dash of light before she floated down, settling at the foot of the bed. Em's feet wobbled at the sudden dip, but she managed to stay upright.
That's
I want to
Speechless.
know. Yeah, speechless. I want to know the rules for the ghost. So, like, I want to know the ghost rules in the world because I'm always fascinated by that because every ghost that you encounter in a different world has a different like set of sort of like rules to it. We've been watching that show Ghosts on I don't know what channel it's on. But we've been watching a show called Ghosts, and they can walk through walls but sit on things. They're like, right? I want
Yeah.
to know the rules.
So between her, like Rosalie's magic before she was,
Oh yeah.
and then
Oh, she
with-
was already magical?
yeah. I'm switching the genre from just like contemporary thriller to more of a fantasy thriller.
Yeah,
from my
nice.
favorites. But so she's still trying to get used to being in this plane of existence because if she doesn't concentrate, she'll just like go through things.
Yeah.
But like noiseless in the fact that like if she walks or anything, she's like basically floating above the air unless later in the book she'll be able to get actually like where she can like actually walk and you can hear her. But right now
Ah,
she's just like kind of floating around trying to figure out how to like touch and like maneuver things because it's not like right now if she focuses really hard she could actually touch, but if not she's just gonna go through.
So right now,
nice.
she's a tadpole. Basically, it sounds like she doesn't have any legs yet, so she's a tadpole. It sounds like.
yeah, and
I
it's a
love the
learning
description.
curve.
Yeah, and I love the description of the hand going through. That was pretty cool, like that touch and then not.
Icy
that was
hot. Yeah.
And this was like funny and cute. I thought it was her just learning to be a ghost. She jumps on the bed, just keeps going up, and I'm thinking, don't give her a trampoline for Christmas.
Right.
No,
I
a
was
different-
kind
Oh,
I
go
was kind of hoping that she would jump high and like maybe her upper torso would go through the ceiling.
ceilings. That
You
would
know
be
what I
fun.
mean? Like, because she's trying to
that.
control herself. Like, I wanted that just because I did.
Honestly, I think that would work because I would have her do that and then she figures out, but then I was gonna have her like be stuck on the ceiling like for longer.
Like a
Okay.
balloon.
Yeah.
Huh. It's so much fun. And the idea that you can have a character, like you'll make us care so much about her that when we learn the ending, it's going to be that much more tragic. Like knowing Rosalie coastally is really going to change the stakes of the whole story. I love it.
Yeah.
We can't wait for you to finish writing it. Anything else? I'm just very excited about it.
I have a feeling this really needs to be published and soon because I need to figure out what happens.
It's my thesis, so I'm gonna start writing it very soon. But I did tell Lori and Franny the ending, so they know they know what's about to happen.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you, Sue. That's great. I'm so excited to find out what you're doing with this. If I just kept up in Discord more, I would know.
I've been really bad about posting it, if we're honest.
Okay. That makes me feel better because I can't imagine how I can keep up. So yeah. Which leads us to Kevin. Do you want to read? He shrugs. We want you to read if you're willing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, sure. Smith sprawled backwards, solar plexus spasming. What's the worst that could happen? She could say no and you'd move on with your life. The gate of entry for the next breath opened with a needling pain up and down his core. When oxygen doesn't come, the reptile brain seeks to fight or flight. That shut off quickly as the steel toe made contact with his orbital bone, pumpkin in November smushing his eye, discombobulating his brain, splitting his cheek. As he faded and voided his bladder, he saw the roses for Rosa.
That's you went from action thriller to horror because my hair is standing up.
No,
again, so
romantic
thanks for that.
comedy. He peed
Oh,
himself.
right, of course, right. Suzanne, what do you mean by the November? I want to hear more about that.
Yeah, that line was fantastic.
Yeah. No, that whole line, I just couldn't type it all because I literally typed November and then I just like paused because I got lost in just like listening. But the
Yeah.
Smashing Pumpkins in November, when it was like the brain, I was like, that was such a cool way to say that.
Oh, read it again. I want to hear it again.
That shut off quickly as the steel toe made contact with his orbital bone. Pumpkin in November, smushing his eye,
Oh,
discombobulating his brain, and splitting his cheek.
pumpkin in November.
I missed that. That's amazing.
It's a very poetic way to talk about getting your head jacked up, for sure.
Yeah. And figurative language without using like or as or even truly being a metaphor, but it was. Like you skipped the structural words that made it, but that was okay. It was really awesome. And I missed it because I was typing. So thank goodness y'all brought it up. Maybe also, I think there is a little piece of me that tries to avoid picturing that stuff.
The little piece.
I am a Pollyanna all the way through. What else did we love?
I just like the distanced way that it approached the conflict and the violence, because that's something that I like to do in my own work too, where you're focusing on the emotions and the experience rather than the actions. And I think that it brings a like a unique perspective to the moments of violence, right? It keeps you grounded on the character instead of what's actually happening. So
Yeah, deeply interior without having to narrate every quote blow by blow pumpkin smashing. But we do also know what happens. So yeah. And we care more, right? Because we care a lot more about characters than we do about plot. We all know that, right?
What was that website that you used to get the first prompt out of? Just because I want to go back and look at them so I can actually write more.
Oh, well, I think that I have access to that only because I like in participating in it. So yeah. But it would be, yeah, it's New York City Midnight that Randall just put in the chat. And there are a few things, like they give a couple examples. And what would be really fun is for you to just like choose some genres and then choose some actions and then choose some words for yourself, but then like put them on like different colored papers or whatever and throw them all together and then pull them out and have it randomize it for you. So even though you've chosen them, you haven't put them in those combinations yourself. That'd be a really easy way for you to do it without having access to one of the, because I have access to that because I can scroll down to number 89 or whatever I was and see whether I placed or not and whether I was moving into the next round. And that's the reason I can see all of it.
if you ever get the chance to participate in their competitions, it's a great writing exercise to learn new ways to write.
Yeah. And you have 24 hours. So it's similar to the 6-minute writing prompt in that you're like, oh crap, I have to send something to people to judge within 24 hours. And that includes like they have a 2,500 word short story. Do you know if it's 2,500, Randall? I don't remember.
I think that's right, but I think you get a little longer with it. I think it's like 3 days with it.
Okay.
But, yeah.
But all the micro stuff is 24 hours, like the flash fiction, the micro fiction. Did you do like 250 or 300, Randall? What did you do?
Mine
500?
was 500, but it was 48 hours for that. So I got an extra day.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, mine's 24 hours.
I don't have any access to that because I'm not participating in it this year, but
yeah. Anyway, it's really easy to do for yourself. I've done it for the library people before just by coming up with it for myself.
I might just do like a random generator, pick an action.
Use technology. Whatever.
What?
Well, you guys were amazing. It was so much fun. Do you have any questions for me about class or anything? Okay.
Thesis next term.
Can I what? Teach thesis? Oh, I wish I could, but I'm always happy. I'm going to stop